So here's my picks. Here is the best guitars and gear to buy now. Let's get started. Welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera, and this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it. So let's talk guitar gear. Before I get started, make sure you hit subscribe. We are giving away a Martin D28 when we hit 100,000 subscribers here on Play and Trade Guitars. To be in it to win it, hit subscribe now, turn on notifications, and enter using Gleam. By the way, if you're in the market for gear, click to buy new gear using our link. You're gonna get fast free shipping, easy payment plans, and guess what? If you live in Europe, we just teamed up with Thomann Music, so now you have a way to buy new gear using our link. Whether you're in the USA or overseas, those links are in our description. Check those out. So it doesn't matter your budget, there's great choices at each price level. I'm gonna kick it off with Epiphone. And honestly, I think they're probably the most exciting guitar company in the market right now because of the new releases, because of the mix of guitars that they have, the inspired by Gibson line. They're even starting to use the new Gibson headstock on new Epiphones, more to come on that. But let's kick it off with Epiphone, one of my top brands right now, and I think you'll agree, these are the picks worth checking out. Starting with Les Pauls, the first one I'm gonna tell you about is a timely pick. You gotta act now to grab this because they're gonna be gone soon. This is the Adam Jones Artist Collection. This was a series of limited edition releases. There's 7 guitars, limited to 800 a piece. Most of them are sold out, but they are at the tail end of this release cycle, and there's 3 or 4 of them that you can still buy. And why I'm gonna recommend that you jump on that, it's a great value, it nails the Jones tones if you're a fan of Adam Jones from Tool, and it's a great Les Paul custom. My suspicion is that Epiphone is preparing to roll out a non-artwork version of the Adam Jones Les Paul custom, probably with the Gibson headstock, but also probably with a higher price. So the reason this is one of my timely Epiphone picks is you can still grab the art edition while it's in stock for $12.99. My hunch, my guess, is that the price is going up when they have that non-art edition, so grab that while you can. While we're talking Les Paul customs, I love Epiphone's Les Paul custom. You can find it in Arctic White. It's beautiful. It's got an ebony fretboard and it really packs a lot for the price. $7.99 in the US. It doesn't have a case, so you'll probably want to get a case, but it's hard to beat that in terms of value. It looks great and it sounds phenomenal. You can check out that demo. Here's a new one that at first I wrestled with because of the increasing prices that were experienced from Epiphone. This is the brand new Kirk Hammett Greeny 1959 Les Paul Standard. I'll tell you what, I didn't know what to think at first because at $14.99 it represents one of the most expensive Epiphone releases. It generated a lot of excitement because it has the new Gibson headstock that I was just talking about. It has Greeny Bucker Gibson USA pickups, it's got a hard shell case, it's got an amazing looking flamed out top. And my initial reaction was, okay, it's expensive, but is it worth it? And as I reflect the past couple weeks on my experience with Greeny, I'm gonna recommend that you buy it. And I'm gonna give you a comparison if you wanna save some money. I still stand by my comparison that Epiphone makes a 1959 Les Paul Standard, also in collaboration with the Gibson Custom Shop, that also has Gibson USA burst bucker pickups. It's got a hard shell case. It's a great guitar, but that's $9.99. In fact, if you use our link, you can actually get an exclusive version of that that's $8.49 and save even more money. So whether you want to spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $900 or you're going to go up to $14.99 on the Greeny, both of those 1959 Les Paul standards really nail it, and I think that they're very much worth checking out. The Greeny just sounded and felt so great. It's got a thicker neck too to be aware of, but it sounded incredible, and we paired it back to back with some Gibsons, and we were super blown away by the Kirk Hammett Greeny. Continuing on down the Les Paul list, here's a little bit of a curveball, the 1961 Les Paul SG. And if you're saying, hey, that's not a Les Paul, this is when they redesigned the Les Paul to look like what we now call the SG, but this represents a historic point in the history of Gibson, and this inspired by Gibson line guitar, also in collaboration with the Gibson Custom Shop, represents a huge value. This one at $9.99 with a hard shell case and Gibson USA pickups too. Very cool guitar. If you like a rock attitude and simplicity, I really have always enjoyed the Billie Joe Armstrong Les Paul Jr. Beautiful white finish on the guitar, a single dog ear P90 pickup, and a sweet case too. It comes with a cheetah print case. And if you're just starting out or you're looking to buy for somebody who's just learning guitar, maybe they're younger or wants an all-in-one pack, they make the Billie Joe Armstrong Players Pack, which is a great value too, has everything you need to get started, the guitar, amp, and all the accessories. 2 more Les Pauls before I move on to the star of the show from Epiphone. I'll tell you what that category is in a second, but I have to give a passing remark to the Les Paul Modern. The Les Paul Modern represents a great value because it gives you so many features, especially compared to the Gibson Les Paul Modern, which is $3,000. You're gonna get additional electronics capabilities, an ebony fretboard, very cool finishes, Great guitar and an affordable $699. The other one not to miss, especially if you're interested in maybe the Adam Jones, a comparable guitar to check out is the Prophecy. This is going to have Fishman Fluence pickups, and it's going to deliver a much more modern tone with the sound of those Fishman pickups and a much more kind of hard rock, heavy, modern tone that the other guitars won't pull off. This one is really unique and worth pointing out in that sense. Well, apart from the 61 Les Paul SG, I didn't mention any SGs. I'm going to save SGs for Gibson because I'm just giving you a hint now as we look forward. Gibson, to me, the SG is where it's at, and also they represent great values. So we'll get to Gibson in a second, but let's talk about the star of the show at Epiphone. To me, the star of the show at Epiphone is the range of semi-hollow guitar offerings. This starting with the 335 Dot at $499 is one of the best playing and sounding guitars. Compared to the $3,500 335 at Gibson, this probably represents one of the biggest knockout values, and in terms of delivering a great feeling and sounding guitar, 335, or for that matter, the Sheraton or other combinations like the Riviera from Epiphone are all worth checking out. The way to get into that for the most value is the simple 335 Dot. It is amazing, inspired by Gibson, and it's $499. Now, if you go to the Artist Series, they're going to have a slew of guitars at $899. This is going to include, for instance, the Jim James 335, which I highly recommend. Comes with a case, Gibson USA pickups, huge value at $899. Also check out the Marty Schwartz 335, the Emily Wolfe Sheraton Stealths, and finally the Noel Gallagher Riviera, which I highly recommend. Any one of those are a great pick. And if you want a more deluxe experience, if you want the top of the top 335 that Epiphone makes, I do recommend the $1299 Joe Bonamassa 1962 ES335. Great feeling guitar. It also has the fun Vibrolo, which is added on there for an extra kind of tonal change up. It's got the hard shell case, Gibson USA pickups. The 335s, the Sheratons, the semi-hollows from Epiphone are really where it's at. I cannot recommend them enough. If you don't own a semi-hollow guitar, buy an Epiphone semi-hollow. You will not go wrong. Passing remarks to three more that I don't want you to miss. One, I would just buy this right now, the Firebird. The $649 Firebird, Gibson barely makes the Firebirds anymore. If you find them used, they're very expensive. And the Firebird represents a really unique tone, and I think they look so cool. You know we love them here on Play and Trade Guitars. They're even in the logo. But Firebird is giving you an insane value at $649 to pick up a Firebird. Grab that while you can. Another release I really liked, there's been a lot of Flying Vs and Explorers, but my favorite from Epiphone was the Korina. This is the 1958 Korina Flying V and Explorer. I actually had to give a slight edge to the Explorer. I really liked the Explorer. It sounded incredible, but they both did. A little more expensive, $1299, but this is kind of a historical collaboration and recreation in partnership with the Gibson Custom Shop. Huge value here, great sounding and playing guitars. Don't miss those either. Epiphone is doing a heck of a job. Let's move over to Squier now. If you're looking for an affordable, high-quality guitar, Squier is the budget-level guitar equivalent to Fender. And when it comes to Squier, Zach and I have been blown away by some of the offerings.